Well, hello to all you out there in YouTube land. Welcome back to a little corner of this virtual universe where we try to think about and discuss and share some things about arts and culture, the things that we're listening to, the things that we're reading, the things that we're watching, things that sort of stimulate that inner self in good and in positive ways. It doesn't mean that everything is going to be easy or light. You know, there may be some difficult subjects that are tackled through songs or novels or movies that are probably good to talk about and that challenge that inner light and sharpen that morality and the ethics that we build our life upon. But sometimes there are just good and very light things to think about, too, things that can be an encouragement to each of us. What I would like to do today is to recommend to you a song, and I am going to recommend the song Humble and Kind, which is sung by Tim McGraw. Now, let me just put a disclaimer out there. I am not what I would call a country fan. No disrespect to anybody who loves country music or who even casually likes country music. I would consider myself a little bit more exposed and familiar with what you might call country gold. You know, growing up, I had family members who exposed me to and I listened to on a fairly regular basis, people like Kenny Rogers and Dolly Parton and who else would have been in there? George Jones, Merle Haggard, people like that. So, when it comes to newer country, not necessarily a big fan. And when a lot of elements from country and pop sort of mix together, you know, I just sort of gravitate away from that kind of music. Hit the scan button on the radio quite often. One of the things I do like about country in the older traditions of it, much like folk, is that country will often tell a story that is different than pop music or even rock music, which tends to just have lyrics, sometimes even nonsensical lyrics, just sort of flung together. It's usually rather shallow. It's promoting some kind of theme as opposed to some kind of narrative. But the old style of country and some of the new still tells stories, narratives, and sometimes those are fun to hear, especially when they're done right, and especially when the emotional tone of the music matches the emotional tone of the story that's being told. I heard this Humble and Kind song on the radio years ago, probably when it was first released and sort of making the rounds. And it was just one of those that I couldn't scan by. I had to stop and listen to see where it was going and absolutely loved it. It's still hard for me to this day to listen to this song without getting choked up and a little bit teary-eyed. I have said to my kids on occasion that if there's ever a song to be played at a graduation, especially for high school students, when you're graduating and you have the whole world in front of you, and you often have these speeches that are given to graduates about the future and how to plan for it and how to sort of hold on to elements of the past. This, to me, is the perfect blend of that idea. If you can only leave your kids and people before they walk out the door and walk into the big wide world with any minuscule pieces of advice, what would you crystallize things down to? And this idea of staying humble and kind, I think, is priceless. And I also think it's timeless. The song sort of works through different stages of people's lives and different categories. So what does this look like when you are young? What does this look like when you are a student? What does this look like when you are in the workplace? What does this look like even as you're getting to the end of your life? And it reinforces just some of these simple values that we used to teach each other and we used to uphold as society. You know, always say please and say thank you. Don't cheat and don't steal and don't lie. chorus is wonderful. It's got a good emotional tone to it. And, when you sort of get to the end, even though it acknowledges, it isn't that you can't experience pride for the things that you're working for and striving for, especially when you see those things come to pass, when you achieve the accomplishment that you have set out to achieve. Yes, you can feel pride, but don't let that sort of overtake you. Come back to these roots of staying humble and kind. Stay humble and kind in relationships and even in love. Don't take for granted the love that this life gives you. And there's a line in there right towards the end where he says, when you get to where you're going, churn back and help the next one in line. Man, I just think that is such great advice. Maybe you've heard the song, maybe you haven't. I'm going to link it for you below in this YouTube description so that you can listen to it. And feel free to weigh in the comment section. And again, whether you love Tim McGraw, whether you love country, whether you don't, I think it's just fun in this sort of setting to share things that we have found valuable and we would like others to give it a shot. Maybe you might find something encouraging and uplifting, reinforcing kind of some of those values that you probably hold dear and you don't hear echoed a lot in the world. Maybe this song can do that for you. So let me know. But in the meantime, keep listening, keep examining, keep reading, keep watching, and keep contemplating. And always stay on the road of love. Until the next time.